We have spent over $40 billion in subsidy. Rufai, our total education expenditure in the past 10 years, total education expenditure in the past, in fact, 12 years, is about 8 trillion. So in 10 years, about 8 trillion. 8 trillion is about 20, let me use 400. It's about $20 billion. Tell me, Rufai, which country of the world, the most two critical engine of development is health and education. And your expenditure in health and education in the past 10 years is about $20 billion. Go and check the records. And you spent 40 in subsidy.
$40 billion.
40 billion subsidy. Rufai, to even add, this is 50% of it. If we have spent the next 20 billion in power, we would have been generating and distributing today 20,000 megawatts of electricity.
We spent 16 billion or 16 trillion thereabout in the subsidies. They keep using that 16 billion number in power.
For me,
yeah,
I don't want to deal with the issue of the past. That's what they said about adjustment. But I'm saying in the past 10 years, and I'm talking about 2010 or 2012 to 2022. Within this period, this is what we have spent in subsidy alone.
yeah.
That means subsidy alone would have solved a lot of our issues in education, in health, and in power. If we have 20,000 megawatts of electricity today, I can assure you that we'll be growing at more than 4% and would have added over $100 billion in our GDP. So what it is that this is just subsidy. Within the same period, as you know, we've borrowed $90 billion. So subsidy of 40, you borrowed about $90 billion, which you're servicing. If you put the debt servicing, you could see a total mismanagement of resources that would have changed the entire north. That vast land would have been a huge farmland.
But sorry to cut you. The argument has always been over the years. It is Labour that has been stopping the government from removing subsidy. Remember 2012 Occupy Nigeria protest, Labour, and now you are in the party set up by the Labour Party, and you're a free market capitalist in the party called Labour Party. So Labour has also played a role in stopping the removal of subsidy. All this while, that's another argument.
No, let me tell you the argument. Let me tell you, it's people. It is not entirely so. Labour has never been against stopping of subsidy.
Can you convince Labour?
No, let me tell you, we will do it properly, because Rufai, if you audit what we are importing and consuming, there's no way it will be this amount. And you have to convince people. Let me tell you why people are against removal of subsidy. People are against removal of anything because whenever it's been done, they did not see the benefit. We did privatization. We didn't see the benefit. What we did is that we privatized profits, socialized losses. We did everything we've done. We did other things here that have been done everywhere. If you say you're going to remove this, what are we getting here? The problem you have in Nigeria is that they've removed this, nobody got anything here. So we are going to do it in such a way that it will be transparent. This is the amount of our importation. This is the amount we're going to spend. And if we reduce it or do this, this is what you're going to get. And you deliver that, people will believe you. I've been able to return schools in Anambra State or do things that when I was doing it, people say, no, you cannot do it. Have you go and watch what my former head of service wrote? Stinginess as a strategy of development. He showed how I cut the cost of everything and showed what I used it to do. You must not come and say, we're going to remove this. What are we going to get as a remove? Because of mistrust, because the whole thing has been embedded in transaction and stealing of, so people don't want to hear it. But you cannot spend that amount on subsidy when your health, education, and pulling people out of poverty is suffering.
So you remove subsidy?
Well, like I said, everything has to be, if this is going to happen, this is the result.
Would you remove subsidy?
We have to look at it critically.
Would you remove subsidy?
Remember what I said? Yes and no. We have to study. I will remove it, but I have to offer them what would be equivalent of what we are removing.
So your answer on subsidy is yes and no?
Yes.
And
yes.
No. Would you remove subsidy?
Yes, but because because I'm going to use the resources to do something that will benefit. But if I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to remove it.
Okay.
You must be able to offer something in replacement of what you're trying to do. I cannot spend $40 billion on subsidy and spend 50% of that in education and health. Even in security, where our security budget have not been up to that. Are you saying that subsidy is more important than security of life and property? These are things you must do. You must be able to say, if we keep this, we will not get this. If we keep this, we will not get this. But because of mistrust, I will say that subsidies is a scam, and I still maintain it. So we have to look at it. How much are we importing? Who is consuming it? Why are we going to keep this? And there's so many scams all over the place, including the cost of governance. We're going to look at it. It's not going to be a business as usual. Going, and that is why people are telling you, oh, it's good at the economy, it's not good at this, it's not that good, because they know that if I'm at the #1 position, I'll be able to say, no, you can't continue with this. So they want a situation where it will continue, but let Peter be here. If I'm qualified to be vice president, I'm qualified to be president.